Shalom, guys. Today we're going to do a video called Choose Sacrifice or Choose Death. So, we're living in the last generation and there's no getting out of it. You will sacrifice. And you may make it to the consummation of times, and you may make it to Mount Sinai, get the law, and live. It's gonna be a tough road. That's a sacrifice. This is that path. This is the path to the wilderness. And this path, there's only one way to get there, and you have to leave your physical leave your physical land. And this is scary. There's no water, there's no food. But you know what? This is worse. This is death. This is a dead tree. You know, Yasharal, though you were a beautiful forest, you're just going to be a stump left. Most people are going to be this dead tree. They're going to continue running and running and running until they're going to end up dead in the tribulation. Why would you choose the world's system over the path of life? Yes, this is scary, but this is what it takes to get to the King of Kings. This is what it takes to get back to the ancient path, the true path. It's either the New World Order in the world's system, as the great Isaiah scroll says. It's a system, the world's system. We see that system. They're putting that system together right before our eyes. We know that the rise of the machines is coming. The artificial intelligence is coming to take over, and you're going to be a slave more so now than you ever were. And this is the path to Yahuah. So choose sacrifice or choose death. So let's get into this. This is Psalms 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Okay? So gather my chosen ones to me, those that have made a covenant with me by... Well, what's the covenant? What's the covenant? Well, you have to listen and obey every word that proceedeth from the mouth of the Most High. By sacrifice, that hurts. That takes your time. That takes your life. Your very life needs to be dedicated to Yahuah at this point in time, because the world system is a path to death. And this is Matthew 19. And he said, everyone that has forsaken houses, brothers, sisters, father, mother, wife, children, land, anything and everything, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and inherit everlasting life. That's pretty amazing. So Christians, they say, oh, follow JESUS, where JESUS is, I want to be. Well, he wasn't in America. He wasn't in Babylon. He was in covenant with the Father. And there's only one covenant, and that's Abraham's covenant. And that's from the river of the Nile to the river Euphrates. If you're not found in that land in those days, you're not on the ark. Okay? So everyone that has forsaken houses for my name's sake, well, what's that name under heaven that we must be saved? That's Yahuah. Because Yahuah's name is in the name Yahusha. That's no JESUS doctrine. We have to tread lightly when it comes to the New Testament. It's very perverted. King James was a Freemason, guys. We've got to recognize what we're getting into. We're in 2nd Esdras 16, verse 41. Let's start with here. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle. And in the darkness of those days, we know what evil is. Be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Be a pilgrim. You have to be a pilgrim, guys. It doesn't... Man, I hope you guys are getting this, because it's pretty in your face now. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise, he will have no profit. He that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell there. He that sows shall not reap. They that plant a vineyard shall not gather the grapes. And they that marry shall have no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. This isn't a good time. We see it happening. We are living in those days, guys. When he says in those days, we're in those days. Okay, this is Isaiah 58:13. If you keep your feet from breaking the Shabbat and from doing as you please on my Kadash day, and if you call the Shabbat a delight, this is Yahuah's Kadash day, to be honored. And do not go your own way, doing as you please or speaking idle words. That's New International Version, okay? Well, that means that the Shabbat day is for Yahuah. It's not a day to go make money. It's not a day for overtime. It used to be a day for overtime. We could make a lot of money on that Saturday. And that was in America. You can't partake of the Shabbat properly unless you're in covenant, because the sun and the moon and everything amazing that was created is in line with Yahuah's master plan, and that is in covenant in this land, in the borders. You have to remember, America is 8 hours behind. So if you keep your feet from breaking the Shabbat and do not do as you please on my Kadash, well, that's a sacrifice. You can't do what you want on the Kadash day. You rest, you barak the Most High, you enjoy your rest, you enjoy your food, and do not speak idle words. It's best if you just lock yourself away and rest if you can't shut your mouth. That's a sacrifice. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Remember, a yoke? That is, he's directing you the way they would yoke their oxen. You're being directed. You're being forced into a direction. That's a sacrifice. My burden is a sacrifice, but it is light. And this is what Yahushua says once again. Okay? So this is important, guys. This is not something to be taken lightly. This is a sacrifice. Okay. Where's my second Baruch is missing. Okay, second Baruch is missing. Second Baruch states that we are to seek him 10 times more. Okay, didn't make it on the tab, not sure why. We are to seek Yahuah 10 times more as we have gone astray. Now, it is our duty, if we want to be in covenant with him, and show him that we are servants, we will need to seek him 10 times more. And that is found in 1st Baruch. Okay? That's a sacrifice. So I just wanted to add that one. Baraked is the man whom you discipline, O Yahuah, and whom you teach out of your law. Because discipline is sacrifice. Patience is sacrifice. And whom you teach out of your law. Learning the law is sacrifice. This verse highlights the baraking of being disciplined and taught by Yahuah, as it ultimately leads to understanding and hakmah. Okay? So even the AI gets a little bit. Alright? This verse contrasts this with the fate of the wicked, who will face consequences of their actions. And their actions is doing their own will. We want our life to line up with the Most High's will, with his master plan. And that's not by being in the world system. All right, this is Psalm 4. Hear me when I call, O Yahuah of righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my splendor into shame? How long will ye love your vanity and seek after leasing? But know that Yahuah hath set him apart, that is Kadosh for himself. Yahuah will hear him when he calls to him. Stand in awe, do not transgress or commune with your own heart upon your bed, and be still. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in Yahuah. The sacrifices of righteousness. This, once again, the whole grace, free favor thing, that was a religion created by the harlot mother, the Roman Catholic Church. Yahuah is not free, and he's a balance. He is just. He's a balance. And because we are all partakers of transgression, because Adam and Eve, we all must sacrifice to get back to a balanced scale, to get just. We need to be just. We need to be balanced. Sacrifices of righteousness. Well, what can you do? Well, you have to give your life away. This is what it takes now. We're in the last generation. You've got one last move on the chessboard, or it's checkmate. You've got nowhere else to go. You've got to get to the wilderness. That's the only path. That's the only path. You need to build your resume to prove to Yahuah that you are not worthy of death and hell for eternity. Can you imagine your soul being separated from the Creator for eternity? There is no getting back to Him. You're separated. There is an abyss of separation. That is absolutely terrifying. Would you not give your life? Your life is a life. Your soul is eternal. You have got to build your resume. Okay. Choose sacrifice or choose death. My people are being led to the slaughter like a flock of sheep. They will no longer have to live in Egypt, and I will use all my strength and power to bring them out of that land. Okay? And we know that Mitzrayim is the ark. I will use all of my strength and power to bring them out of that land. Well, that's Egypt. Once again, guys, that's Mitzrayim. Because they're being led to the slaughter like a flock of sheep. There will be no man left on earth if it wasn't for Yahuah's intervention to bring his people out. And get to this path. You have to be taken out and get on this path. Who's going to take you out? You have to take yourself out. You get out on your own. And I heard another voice from the Shamayim saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her transgressions, and that ye receive not of her plagues. He's talking about Babylon. We know what's coming. Plagues, death amongst the Goyim. Psalm 44, verse 22. Yet for your sake we are killed all day long. We are accounted like sheep for the slaughter. Not a good place to be in. Okay, Psalm 44. We have heard with our ears, O Yahuah. O Yahuah, our fathers have told us that what work thou didst in their days, in the time of old, how thou didst drive out the heathen with thy hand and plantest them, how thou didst afflict the people and cast them out. For they got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did their own arm save them. but thy right hand and thine arm and the light of thy countenance, because thou hadst a favor upon them. Thou art my king, O Yahuah, command deliverances for Jacob. Through thee we will push down our enemies, and through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us. Through thy name, through the name Yahuah. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. That is true. But thou hast saved us from our enemies, and hast put them to shame that hated us. Yahuah, we boast all the day long, and praise thy name forever. But thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with our enemies. Thou make us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen. So when a lot of people say, well, Yahuah is just going to come get me, and when the time is right, he's going to save me. You're like a sheep, you're meat, scattered among the heathen. It's your duty now, once you wake up, to deliver yourself. Thou sellest thy people for nothing, and does not increase wealth by their price. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, and scorn and derision to them that are round about us. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. My confusion is continually before me, and the shame of my face has covered me. The confusion, the last day's stupor, is continually before me, and my shame of my face has covered me. For the voice of him that reproacheth and blasphemy by reason of the enemy and avenger. All this is come upon us, yet have we not forgotten thee, neither have we dealt falsely in thy covenant. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from the way. Though thou hast sore broken us in the place of dragons, and covered us with the shadow of death. If we have forgotten the name of Yahuah, or stretched out our hands to a strange mighty one, shall not Yahuah search this out, for he knoweth the secrets of our hearts. Here we go again. Yes, for thy sake we are killed all day long, counted like sheep for the slaughter. Awake, why sleepest thou? Arise, cast us not off forever. Awake, get out of your slumber, get out of the stupor. So, let's get going. Wherefore hidest thou thy face, and forgettest our affliction and our oppression? For our soul is bowed down to the dust, our belly cleaveth unto the earth. Arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake. These are the prayers we need to be praying. We can't just say, oh, you're just going to come and get me because I'm the chosen seed, so you're just going to come and get me. Not true. Not true. Man, read the script. Though Yasharal be like the stars of the Shamayim, okay? There's just not going to be a lot of light left in the last days because Yasharal is not shining like they used to. Okay? Like I said, Yasharal is like a beautiful wooded vineyard, a beautiful forest. Now it's accounted as a stump. Okay, Hosea 4. Okay. Oh, this is intense, guys. Hear the word of Yahuah, ye children of Yasharal, children of the earth. Yahuah hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth or mercy or knowledge. Yahuah in the land. Well, that's true. There's no truth. Man, no mercy, that's for sure. Everything is backwards. Good is wrong and wrong is good. Backwards. Nor hakma, knowledge, understanding of Yahuah in that land. Okay, it specifically says, there's no knowledge of me in your land. Well, if you think you know him, why is it saying there's no knowledge? You don't have hakma of me. Your commandments are taught by men. You go to a house to receive commandments of men. You don't fear the Most High. When he said, put Yahuah first, put me first, that means seek me 10 times more. That's a big deal, you know? This is a sacrifice. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwells there shall languish with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven, with the shamaim. Yes, the fishes of the seas also shall be taken away. And we see that now. Now we see that. Yet let no man strive nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priest. Therefore shalt thou fall in that day. What day? Well, in those days. That's the last generation day. And the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy your mother. My people are destroyed for a lack of hakmah. Because thou hast rejected hakmah, knowledge, and understanding, I will reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten my law, I will forget your children. There's a covenant. You can't say that you obey the law if you're not in that covenant. As they were increased, so they've transgressed against me. Therefore will I change their splendor into shame. Because we know glory is a female mighty one. We don't want to say that. It says in the, when Yasharal is back in its splendor and magnificence, we will be saying no mighty ones. All of the false names of Baal will be taken out of our mouths, and this is one that is a daughter of Baal. They shall eat up the transgression of my people, because we know that sin is Sini. That's the mountain of Yahuah. That's why English is so perverse. But let's keep going. They eat up the transgression of my people. They set their heart on their iniquity. There shall be like people like priests, and I will punish them for their ways and reward them with their doings. For they shall eat and have not enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to Yahuah. Okay? Harlotry and wine and new wine take away your heart. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declareth unto them. For the ruach of transgression hath caused them to err and harlotry, and they have gone harloting from under the Shamaim, from under Yahuah. Okay? They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit harlotry, and your spouses shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit these things, nor your spouses when they commit these things, for themselves are separated with their harlotry, their sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that do not understand shall fall. Though thou, Yasharal, play the harlot, yet let not Yehudah offend, and come not yea unto Gilgal, neither go yea up to Bethlehem, nor swear that Yahuah liveth. For Yasharal slideth back as a backsliding heifer. Now Yahuah will feed them as a lamb in a large place. There's the slaughter, death, destruction. Ephraim is joined to idols, let him alone. Their drink is sour, they have committed harlotry continually. Her rulers with shame do love. The wind hath bound her up in her wings, and they shall be ashamed because of their sacrifices. Well, their sacrifices aren't Yahuwah's sacrifice of covenant. The only sacrifice he accepts is when you're under his covenant. So why would he be ashamed of your sacrifice? Because you're not in covenant with him. The first thing about the covenant is the land. The land, the law, the name, and the people. The land, the law, the name, and the people. Nothing else matters. Throw the Bible away. There you go. The land, okay, because that's important. If you're not in the land, you're not going to be a part of what Yahuwah's master plan is. The law, his true perfect Kadash law, not our own, made by men and religion. The name of Yahuwah. You can't call on Lord and God and all the Baals. There's no Jesus in that. And the people. Well, the people that obey the land that know where the land is, that obey the law, and know the name of Yahuah. Like, this should not be hard to grasp, yet it is. Because Yahuah is ashamed with your sacrifice. You're not sacrificing anything at this moment. What are you sacrificing for Yahuah? There's a sacrifice that needs to be made. Okay? And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahuah, to observe and do all of his commandments, which I commanded thee this day, that Yahuah will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. That's Deuteronomy 28. Okay? Hearken diligently. What does diligently mean? Like full attentively. Not like diligently, daily. Every hour you're thinking upon something to do with his law, with his land, with the wilderness, unto the voice of Yahuah, to observe and do all these things. Observe, learn as a child, and then do it. Physically do it. Physically do the commandments. Physically, guys. How deep can you go? That's how deep you need to go. When I was in America, so okay, I want to obey the law. Well, I can't really obey the law when my neighbors are homosexuals and I'm outside reading scripture to my family and they're doing their wickedness right beside us. Okay, move. Okay, I'm going to move. Well, I can't obey when I go to I can't obey anywhere. The land has been defiled. Everything's been defiled. Every person has been defiled. Everything needs to be burned with fire and restored back to the perfect way. We can't say that Yahuah is anything less. He's perfect and Kadash. He's pure. He's the light. Everything about this generation needs to be burned with fire. That's why you need to get back to this path, where no man dwelleth, where no man is. The voice of Yahuah shaketh the wilderness. He shaketh the wilderness of Kadash. I lost my place. Okay. Sorry. Obey diligently to the commandments. And all these barakings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahuah. Barak thou shalt be in the city, and Barak thou shalt be in the field. And all of that amazingness. But if you don't, cursed you shall be. Your basket will be cursed. You'll be cursed in the city. Okay? If you go aside from any of these words, you're going to be cursed. So observe and do all that Yahuah commands you. All right? And I've stated this, guys. This is Deuteronomy 28. This should be on the back of our palms. It should be on the palms on the back of our hands. This should be written somewhere in our house. All right? And I've already done a video on this. So we're just going to the cursed you shall be in the city, and you shall be in the field. Well, why are you cursed? Because you did not heed to the voice of all of the words of Yahuah. Do not go aside from any of the words which I command you this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other mighty ones to serve them. Well, I'm not serving other mighty ones. Do you go to church? Do you know church is Xerxes? Xerxes is circle. The circle is, there's so much you need to research. What does the word church even mean? What does the steeple represent? Do you guys have wisdom and knowledge and understanding in these days? Because if you don't, you'll be destroyed. You need to understand. The English language is so filthy and foul and full of false mighty ones. I really have to tread lightly reading King James Version and the English, but that's all we have. We don't have the perfect Kadash language, but one day he will return it to those that seek him 10 times more. Okay? All of these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed you shall be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Your basket and the storehouses are going to curse you. You're going to get rotten, genetically modified food that you're going to overpay for. Cursed shall be the fruit of your body and the fruit of the land. You know, the last days generation children are so wicked, like on a different level. I was born in the 90s. I respected my elders. I obeyed my mother and father. I honored them, even though I had to pull away from Christianity. But this generation of children, they're different, man. The fruit of your land, the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of your sheep. We don't have any sheep right now. Well, what do you have? Money? You have stocks, bonds, Bitcoin. What is it that you put your amuna in, your faith in? Cursed thou shalt be when thou comest in, and cursed thou shalt be when thou goest out. This isn't good. You don't want to be cursed by Yahuah. Yahuah shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all thou that settest thine hand unto for to do, until you're destroyed and perish quickly because of your wickedness and your doings, because you've forsaken me, he says. And I just got a quickening in the Ruach. I got really emotional. You're going to perish quickly because of your wickedness. And you just aren't taking him serious. And you know, there's a reoccurring saying I say, did you get your burning bush moment? Did you get your burning bush visitation? What's your burning bush visitation going to be? Your burning bush moment. Maybe, Yahuah willing, this video. Yahuah's one videos. This is not hidden anymore. The word of Yahuah will go forth and proceedeth. What's your burning bush moment going to be? Is it going to be when you're stuck in Babylon and then you get a disease? A man-made disease? Is it going to be the earthquake that finds you? The drought that kills you slowly as you watch your family starve to death? What's your burning bush visitation going to be? Because Yahuah is visiting all the inhabitants of the earth right now. It just depends on, are you going to listen, wake up, and get to the backyard and wait for the Father? Wait for Daddy to do his business and start his ancient path all over again? Because the fallen ones are being judged. They know it. They're ready to party hardy. They are partying. These 1% billionaires, guys. Don't get stuck in the system. Yahuah shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he has consumed thee from off the land where you go to possess. The pestilence, the diseases. Do you guys have disease in your body right now? Yahuah shall smite thee with a consumption and a fever and inflammation. Well, I know all about that. I know about inflammation. As we get older, our bodies start to get more broken down and inflamed. Transgression is starting to seep in. Our years are starting to dwindle. How many years do you have left to get it right? You have got to get your resume. You got to get your resume before the Most High. What are you going to say to the Most High on that day when he comes to judge us? All souls. What's your resume going to be? What sacrifice did you make? With extreme burning and with the sword and with blasting and mildew, and they shall and all of these curses shall pursue you until you perish. And the heathen that is over your head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. Yahuah shall make the rain in thy land powder and dust. From the Shamayim it shall come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. Well, you know what I'm going to do? Yahuah willing, I'm going to do my best to get to the wilderness where manna is coming down. because it's written that the man is going to fall a second time for them that came to the consummation of time. Yahuah shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Well, where do we go? Well, let's go to Europe. Let's go to South America. Let's go to Mexico. Let's go into Europe. Let's go to Australia. Where are you going to go? You're going to go everywhere. Well, there's an ark, and that's the covenant. And one thing that the Christian church did really well was never talk about it. Man. And the carcass shall be meat unto the fowls of the air. Your carcass will be the meat to the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. Yahuah will smite thee with a botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab and the itch that you cannot be healed from. Guys, are you getting this? Yahuah shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Let's just stop there, because I gotta keep going. You'll be destroyed and killed in the worst way possible. He said it himself. If you do not obey every word that cometh out of the mouth of the Most High. When he says, get out, go out of her, my people, he meant it. Okay? So, we've heard a voice, trembling of fear and not shalom. Now see, every man, is he travailing with child? Okay? Every man, not every man, see whether a man, does he travail with child? Why is he so scared? Why is he trembling and grabbing his loins? Why is he losing his bowels for fear? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman, screaming, travailing in birth pains, and all faces are turned to paleness. That's a big deal. I don't want to be there. I have anxiety already. I don't think I could survive. Could you survive that? No. That's terrifying. I've had 4 kids. Women die having birth. You need the Most High's favor. Alas, that day is great, that no one, nothing is like it. It is a time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, he shall be saved out of it. But who's going to be saved out of it? Well, those that go to the borders. Okay. I am with thee, saith Yahuah, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations where I've scattered thee, yet I will not make a full end of you. But I will correct you in measure, and not leave you altogether unpunished. We're all going to get punished. This is something that is undeniable. I'm going to get punished. I accept it. I want to get under covenant with him. I want to do every word that he said do, and I'm seeking and searching desperately, some days more than others. And I'm ready to balance my scale, man. I'm telling the Most High, balance me, because I want to be balanced now and not pay for it later in hell. We're all going to get punished. For thus says Yahuah, your bruise is incurable and your wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up, and you have no healing medicine. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because your transgressions were increased. He said, you're my enemy, as a cruel one. Guys, when you do get your burning bush moment, that's Yahuah. Okay, when everybody is going to receive their visitation, that's Yahuah. What's your visitation going to be? Because you can only run for so long until it catches up with you. And the more you know, the more sorrow your soul increases. Yes, that's true, as it says in the book of Ecclesiastes. The more chachma that you gain, the more sorrowful this world becomes. But there's a place where the sorrow disappears. And that's under covenant with Yahuah. Because even if I die right now under covenant, I'm doing something good for him. This is my sacrifice. I've got something to show him on a resume. I'm not fully satisfied. I'm still terrified, as we should be, because the fear of Yahuah is what gains Hakma. Hakma will not dwelleth with the soul under iniquity that does not feareth Yahuah. And just let the Ruach talk a little. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. Okay? Sorry. Why criest thou? Sorry, I totally skipped this. Because your transgressions were increased. Okay? Your sorrow is incurable for the multitude of your iniquities, because your transgressions were increased. I have done these things to you. Okay? Now, yes, Yahuah will restore and heal at Zion. Okay? Not in America. I will give you for a prey, but if you return, your enemies, he will give for a prey. Alright? This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Well, are you going to be a part of Zion? Because in order to be a part of Zion, you have to be in the land, prepared and ready, in the birthing canal, as the New World Order is birthing. Yahuah's ancient world is coming back. And Zion will be back. Okay? So we have to remember the covenant is a real thing. This is a big deal, guys. Thus saith Yahuah, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me in destroying wind. Let's talk about America. Babylon. The land of the Chaldeans. The land of the Greeks and Latin. Once again, you've got to research. You've got to research. If you say, oh, well, America's not Babylon, you're not there. You probably shouldn't even be looking at my videos, because you need to go research. This is about Babylon, America. We know America's Babylon. Let's take her mask off. Alright? Thus saith Yahuah, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them, and rise up against me, destroying wind. Yeah, we've seen that. Yeah, hundreds of thousands of people are dying. Yes, they are found in the trees and in the ditches, because nobody's burying their bodies. Well, they were Christians, waiting on their rapture. What happened to them? Let's take a moment in remembrance for the people who were found in the trees and in the ditches in North Carolina because of that destroying wind. Can we take a moment in remembrance? Maybe that'll put you out of your delusion and out of your stupor for a moment. This is a real deal, man. I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. I've read this scripture. Okay? Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. Against him that lifteth himself up in his brigadine. And spare ye not her young men, and destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Well, her young men are going to war. They're all being drafted. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. America, her mask is falling off. Yahuah is revealing her wickedness. He's revealing so much wickedness right now. And we can't just live in a delusion and say, well, I have a job to go to. I have a family to care for. No, that doesn't matter. For Yasharal hath not been forsaken, nor Yehuda of Yahuah of hosts, though their land was filled with transgression against the Kadashwan of Yasharal. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, deliver every man his soul, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuah's vengeance, Jacob's trouble, as it says in my Sefer. He will render unto her recompense. And I said that so fast because I've read that scripture probably 100 times, and you should too. Let's do it again. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuah's vengeance, and he will render unto her recompense. Big deal. It's really easy. Let's read it again. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. You have to flee. Once again. Depart. Go out. This is no joke. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. Deliver every man his soul. He doesn't say I'm coming to get you. He doesn't say I'm rapturing you. Every man deliver his own soul, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuah's vengeance. There's your burning bush moment. There's your visitation. He will render unto her recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahuah's hand, that made all the earth drunken. Yes, that is true. Now, take a good deep look inside. What other nation has been a golden cup? Other than America. I almost lost my words. That made the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, and the nations are mad. They're mad from her drunken wine. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Hell for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. Well, we would have healed her, but she can't be healed. Now forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto the Shamaim, and is lifted up to the skies. She can't be healed. Let us declare in Zion the work of Yahuah, our Elohim, our Eluah. Okay? Get out of Babylon. Here we go again. The noise of the multitude of the mountains, like a great people, tumultuous noise of kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahuah of hosts musters this battle. You're not getting out. They come from a far country, from the end of the Shamaim. Even Yahuah and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land with you in it, because you didn't leave. Howl ye, for the day of Yahuah is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Have you guys ever heard someone howl? Have you heard the howling of a woman that lost her husband? Because I did. And it was really hard. How's it going to be when the whole earth is howling in pain and sorrow? For the destruction of Yahuah has come. That's so tough. I have to swallow hard. Look at what AI says, guys. I will make people scarcer than pure gold, more rare than the gold of Ophir. That was Yahuah. This is AI. This verse is part of a prophecy against Babylon, declaring that even precious gold will be overshadowing by the rarity of the human race during their impending destruction. That's a big... Even AI tells you. The human race is going to be so rare to find a big chunk of beautiful, precious gold. I've never found gold. Now, I used to live up in a place, and I could go to the Rocky Mountains, and I could pan for gold. And I was so excited. There was something like called the gold rush, back then, and I couldn't find any gold. And we sat there for hours in the ice cold water. No gold. Okay? The humans are going to be so rare upon the earth. This is AI. It's telling you right now. Goodness, guys. And Babylon, the splendor of kingdoms, the beauty of the Greeks and the Latins, and the wicked Chaldees' excellency shall be like when Yahuah overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall an Abri pitch tent there, or the shepherd make their fold there. So, there will be nothing left of Babylon. Guys, once again, Yahuah is coming to destroy. I will appoint over them 4 kinds: the sword to slay, the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. So he's not happy with anyone right now in Babylon. The sword to slay, the dogs to tear. Well, I know Jezebel got eaten by dogs. That was pretty gruesome, terrible death. And that was a message from the Most High. Are you going to be in that position? Are you accounted as that wicked queen? That he would have dogs tear your body apart? Because that's what you are according to the Most High. That's your future. And the fowls of the Shamayim to eat you, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. I mean, let that sink in, guys. Alrighty. This is scary. If you want to try to escape, I saw a vision of Yahuah standing beside the altar. He said, "Strike the tops of the temple columns so that the foundation will shake. Bring down the roof of the heads of the people below, and I will kill with the sword those who survive. No one will escape. If they dig down to the place of the dead, I will reach down and pull them up. If they climb up to the Shamayim, if they build ivory towers, if they have $1,000,000,000 jets, I will bring them down. If they hide at the very top of Mount Carmel, I will search them out and capture them. If they hide at the bottom of the ocean, I will send the sea serpent to bite them. Nobody will escape." That's your burning bush moment. Wouldn't you rather your burning bush moment be this? Or do you want to get visited by the Almighty when He's against you because you didn't listen to the voice of the Most High and get on the path of righteousness that leads to His mountain? We're in the days, guys. This isn't a joke. You will be stuck in the world system and die, or you're going to go back to the ancient path. And you guys, I've read 2nd Esdras. Let's read it again. How much of this am I going to read? I'll let the Ruach decide. He answered me and said, "Measure carefully in your mind when you see that a certain part of the predicted signs are past." Yes, a certain part of those signs are past. You will know that it is time when the Most High is about to visit the world that He made. Not in a good way. I just showed you. This is not a good visitation. "When there shall appear in the world earthquakes, tumults of peoples, intrigues of nations, wavering of leaders, confusion of princes, you will know that it was of these that the Most High spoke of from the days that were of old from the beginning. For just as with everything that has occurred in the world, the beginning is evident, and the end is manifest, so also are the times of the Most High. The beginnings are manifest in the wonders and mighty works, and the end in whatever that word is, and in signs. It shall be that everyone who will be saved and will be able to escape on account of his works, or on account of faith by which he has believed. Let's break this down. Faith. Well, that's a female mighty one. Beli. That's belier. Once again. On account of Amunah. Okay? He's had Amunah to Yahuah. They will survive the dangers that have been predicted and see my salvation in my land within my borders. For I sanctified them from myself from the beginning. That's all it takes. Okay? That's the icing on the cake. All right? So everyone who will be saved and able to escape, you escape, will be found in my borders. You will be found in the covenant land, in my borders. So everyone that will be able to escape, you have to escape. Do this on your own. He's not coming to get you. There's no rapture. He's coming. He is coming. He's visiting. On account of his works, his sacrifice. On account of his sacrifice. And his Amunah. Because this is hard. Every day that goes by, I need Yahuah. Will survive the dangers that have been predicted. That is my goal. To survive the dangers that have been predicted. And to have salvation. Yahusha. Yashayahu. In my land and within my borders. Those who have now abused my ways shall be amazed. They're going to be paralyzed in fear and trembling. Their hearts will fail for fear. They're going to lose their bowels. It's not going to be good. Those who have rejected them with contempt shall dwell in torments. If you reject this, you're too far in now. If you're still with me, if you reject this, you're going to dwell in torments. That's a thick word I just said, guys. For as many as did not acknowledge me in their lifetime, although they received my benefits. Every day we need to have an attitude of gratitude. Thank you for this apple, Yahuah. Thank you for this warm bed, Yahuah. Thank you for this wonderful breeze from the east wind, Yahuah, to take the heat away. We have got to appreciate him and not just act like we deserve it, like a bunch of undeserving brats. You know what it's like when some of my family members, they say thank you for dinner. Man, this looks good. This is so gonna hit the spot. And then there's someone, maybe two, that just don't care, don't say anything. It's like you need to be thanking me, man. Like all of this hard work I put in, all of this effort I put in, and you've received my benefits, and you didn't acknowledge me, for their whole lifetime. This is no meal. This is a lifetime of not acknowledging the Most High. As many has scorned my law, while they still had freedom. So true. Scorned my law. Well, I thought the law was done away with. I thought Jesus came and abolished the law. No, he specifically said, I did not come to abolish the law, but fulfill the law. But the Christian pastors, they've got BELI on them. And they're the ones that manipulated you. And I'm sorry, but it's time to wake up from your manipulation. The law has never been done away with. It's still there. Now, we cannot fulfill the law. At this point in time, we cannot fulfill the law. That's why we need to get to the ancient path that leads to the mountain that leads back to the law, Barak Yahuah. While they still had freedom, you still have freedom. You can still get a passport. You can still say no to whatever you believe your future is. They did not understand, but they despised it, while an opportunity of repentance was still open to them. At this point in time, there is still an opportunity for you to repent and return. And if you don't, they must acknowledge this in torments after death. That's a thick word, guys. Choose sacrifice or choose death. Shalom.